Good morning. This is Grandpa Jimmy coming to you from somewhere in Wisconsin, and today we're going to talk about wood pellet grilling. Wood pellet grills have been out for about 25 years now, and they started off kind of slow, but they're picking up steam, a lot of momentum. They're the hottest thing in the barbecue industry, and that's for a good reason. A wood pellet grill, simply put, is a convection oven that you use outdoors where you can also smoke meat. And today is going to be all about bacon. Everybody loves bacon. So first things first, let's go outside and see what a pellet grill looks like. So this is a pellet grill. And all pellet grills are going to be a little bit different, but the principle is always the same. This is a box that holds your pellets, and it's called a hopper. And down here we have a control center, and this is where you tell the pellet grill what you want it to do. And inside, there's a tube with an auger that turns really slow and delivers the pellets into this, which is called a burn pot. And there's very little maintenance with a pellet grill. All you have to do is every once in a while you have to clean it out. I cleaned mine out last night. It took me 5 minutes. You just get a little hand vacuum, and you got to vacuum out the ash that's down in the bottom. And there's going to be some ash in that burn pot too. But it's important to do that. But it's not very often. Maybe every 20 hours, check it and see how much ash is built up. You just want to keep it clean. Actually, a grill is a little bit like a woman. If you're lucky enough to be with a good one, all you got to do is take care of it, and it'll take care of you. And over the burn pot, we put this little thing. And that has two functions. It keeps anything bad from dropping into your burn pot, and it also helps distribute the heat. Next, we have a metal plate, and that goes in at an angle. See, I covered it with tin foil just because. And this also has two functions. Number one, it'll help distribute the heat, and then when your meat drippings or grease from the bacon, in our case, will flow downhill and funnel down into this little bucket down here. Okay, so you got your grease that funnels into this handy little bucket, but then what do you do with the grease? What I do is I just go put it in a neighbor's yard. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get yourself a grill mat. Now there's a couple different kinds. I'm going to use two just to show you what they're like. This is a solid mat, and this is a mesh mat. Now your grease is going to lay on top of the solid one, obviously, and it's going to fall through on the mesh mat. So let's put some bacon on and see what happens. See, if I can do this one-handed, I'm sure you can do it with two. So when you get your mats, the one thing you want to look for is make sure they're dishwasher safe. I'm using these two mats here. I've used these mats many times. Just throw them in the dishwasher, easy peasy cleanup, man. They're good to go, good as new. All right, so our bacon's all on here, and you're gonna see just how great this turns out. All right, it's been on 275 for about 30 minutes now. Good things take time. And just give it a turn, and you notice how evenly this is getting done. It's not all curled up on the edges, getting done all over evenly. Isn't that a beautiful thing? So we cooked it at 275 for about 30 minutes on one side and flipped it. Cooked it for another 30 minutes, and look at this. Isn't that beautiful? It's a thing of beauty. Everybody likes their bacon done a little bit different, so you can make it as crispy as you want, or as not done as you want. But the point of using the pellet grill is, look at how evenly this is done. You don't have parts that are undone with the scorched edges. And for all of you health nuts out there, you can dab up some of the grease so it's a little more healthy for you. As a matter of fact, you know, some counties up in northern Wisconsin, way up there, you know, they consider bacon to be an aphrodisiac. You know, you can dab a little bit behind the ears. Works great for men and women, attracts them like crazy. All right, so now we're going to do something a little different. We're going to make a lattice design. And here, on this one, I'm just going to use 4 pieces of bacon. And over on this side, we're going to try it with 6. If you want an extra large bacon circle, you can use 6 pieces, but I recommend 4, that's plenty. And one here. So we got a 4-slice lattice and we have a 6-slice lattice. Now these you want to cook a little bit longer on the first side so that they stay together a little better. They'll kind of fuse together better if you cook them a little longer. So I'm going to do this at 275, but I'm going to leave this bad boy on for about 40 minutes before we turn them. And then I'll show you what we do with them. All right, so our bacon lattice has been on for about 40 minutes now, and we're going to flip it. Now obviously the bigger the spatula you have, the better, but this one should work. Just go like so, flip that bad boy over, that's the 4-piece. This is the 6-piece lattice. You got to be a little careful. Flip that bad boy over. And now we're going to let that cook for about another 30 minutes. Keep watching it and make it done the way you want it. You don't want it too crispy because we're going to have to cut that, which is what you're going to see in just a minute. Okay, so our bacon lattice is done. Now I'm going to show you how to cut it. What we're going to do is we're going to make some bacon circles. Perfect for a bacon cheeseburger. You just cut these bad boys up. See, the more done you make your bacon, the harder it is going to be for you to cut it. This one is kind of medium. You can see it's falling apart just a little bit. Here's an example of one that's way overdone, and the bacon just kind of falls apart when you try and cut it. Now this is an example of the 4-slice lattice. Here is the 6-slice lattice. And this one is a little bit less done, so it's a little easier to cut and a little easier to make a perfect circle. Nothing better than a perfect circle. Then you're going to have these leftover bacon parts here, obviously. So geez, what can we do with that? Well, you just cut it up a little more, make bacon bits. Or there's a lot of other things you can do with it. If you think of any other things you might want to do with your leftover bacon parts, hey, leave it in the comments below. Look at that. That is a perfect bacon circle for the best bacon cheeseburger you ever had. Or there's something else you can do with it too. So what I like to do, as long as I'm making these perfect bacon circles, make a bunch of them. Put them in a plastic bag, throw them in the freezer. That way you want to have a perfect bacon circle, you can just pull it out of the fridge anytime you want. Make up like 8 or 10 or 12 or maybe a couple hundred of them if you want. Easy peasy. And next what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to make genuine homemade jalapeno bacon. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a jar of hot jalapenos. You can use mild ones if you're a wimp, but if you like hot, use the hot. And I dumped about half of the water out of there before I put it in the blender. Now the reason I do that is so that it turns out nice and thick. You want it to look like pea soup, or as some of your older generation might remember, it looks a little bit like Soylent Green. And for you younger people, just Google Soylent Green Charlton Heston, you'll see what I mean. Anyway, the point is it should be nice and thick. So we're going to grind this up. And if you're thinking about doing a video, buy a blender that doesn't make so much noise. It's looking good now. Nice and thick. So we grab a bowl. Oh man, that's beautiful for you jalapeno lovers. All right, now I'm going to show you how to get it on the bacon outside. Let's go for a walk. All right, this is how we make our jalapeno bacon. We got our pea soup mix here, and for you two-handed people it's going to be a little easier, but here's what you do. It's nice and thick, and you just ladle some on, and obviously the more you put on, the hotter it's going to be, just like the brand of jalapenos that you get. If you want them hot, that's fine. If you want a mild where you just get a jalapeno flavor and it's not so hot, well, that makes for some delicious bacon too. So I'm just gonna slather some of this stuff on here. Oh boy, doesn't that look good. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna flip your bacon right away. You don't wanna let it cook like this. So you just flip it so you get that jalapeno on the bottom. So we got it flipped, and what you wanna do is you wanna put your jalapeno juice on the other side right away. So now we got the jalapenos on both sides of the bacon just at the beginning of the cook. You're gonna have a little extra jalapeno residue on your grill, but that's okay, because remember, you just put the mats in the dishwasher and they turn out like brand new. So then we just cover it up and let that cook for about 30 minutes. And we're gonna cook it a little lower. We're gonna go down to about 200 on this, because that jalapeno tends to burn if you leave it on too long, and then you get really hard, ugly, dark bacon. It'll still taste good, but it'll be ugly and dark. So we're gonna cook this a little bit less. So keep that in mind. You can cook it any way you want, obviously. All right, let's let her rip. All right, so we flipped our jalapeno bacon after about 20 minutes, cooked it a little lower, and look at this. Oh man, this is some delicious stuff. Not too crispy, done just right. Oh man, this is gonna be good. So here we're gonna do something extra special. What I've got here is a good old-fashioned Wisconsin double boiler. Learned this trick back in Manitowoc, you know, back in the old days when I was a wee tot. My mama showed me how to do this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna melt some chocolate, and we're gonna dip some bacon in and put it on the pan, but it's gonna take a little bit for this chocolate to melt. So while we got some time, little Johnny goes up to his dad one day and says, "Hey Dad, where do people come from?" Dad says, "Well, that's easy, Johnny. In the beginning, God created Adam and Eve, and they had a family, and their families had families, and that's how the earth was populated." Johnny thought, yeah, that makes sense to me. Later on in the day, he goes up to Mom and says the same thing. He says, "Mom, where do all these people come from?" Mom gave him a different story. She gave him the evolution story. You see these charts in school sometimes where they started out as monkeys, and then apes, and then Neanderthals, and gradually over thousands of years, they developed into people that we know them today. But Johnny says, that makes sense to him too. So later on, he goes to his dad and says, "Hey Dad, you lied to me. You told me that in the beginning, God created Adam and Eve, and Mom gave me a different story. She said how we all evolved from apes and monkeys." So Johnny looks at his dad, and he's a little puzzled, and Dad says, "Well, Johnny, I didn't lie to you. She was just telling you about her side of the family." All right, so our chocolate is melted, and what we're gonna do here is you can do this a couple different ways. You can take half slices of bacon, put them in, coat it nice. What I like to do is leave a little bit of it uncoated, so it's easier for you to grab when you're eating it. There's a full, that was a half piece. Here's a full piece. Now I got dark chocolate, and you can also do white chocolate. Oh, it's looking good. Might be about time to schedule that angiogram though. So here, see this piece is a little darker. This, of course, is the jalapeno bacon. Works just as well. So coat it as best you can. You can dip it, you can take a spoon, cover it like that. And then what you could also do is if you want to make a nice little presentation, you can take like a little of the white chocolate and put it over the top. Or you can take a little bit of the brown chocolate and put it on the white, just to make it a little more interesting. It's a pretty cool thing to do for special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, some kind of holiday party. Put out the chocolate covered bacon, you're gonna be a hit. Pretty good stuff. All right, so you want to get as many on the wax paper as you can, and you don't want to dilly-dally around because time is important here. Once you get them all dipped, you want to get these and put them in the freezer just as soon as you can so that the chocolate sets up. All right, so we got our bacon in the freezer, and you just have to let it set up for a little while in there, and after that, then you can put it in a plastic bag and keep it in the refrigerator. It'll keep for a long time. You can put it out at parties, holiday occasions, birthdays, anniversaries. You get that whole sweet and salty thing going on. There's nothing better than a good piece of chocolate-covered bacon. Ugh, what the hell is that? Oh my Lord. All right, so besides using the bacon circles to make a good bacon burger or bacon cheeseburger, check this out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make some breakfast. Oh, doesn't that look good? I think bacon is a perfect cure for a hangover. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the bacon right on top of that pancake. And we're going to end up with a bacon-infused pancake. Now, you can do this either way. You can leave it just the way it is and flip it. Or what I like to do is put a little more batter on top. Now, I made this pancake just a little big, but that's okay. Okay, so I got it at a medium-high heat. What we're going to do is we're going to flip this bad boy over. Just like so. Oh man, doesn't that look good? Just looks like a regular pancake to me, but no, it's infused with bacon. And here we flip it back over. See, you can hardly even see that bacon, but by George, it's in there. It's great for breakfast. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try making another one, and I bet you guys can guess what's coming. Oh, watch this. Remember those bacon circles? How about a chocolate-covered bacon circle embedded in a pancake for breakfast? Look at that. Sure beats cereal, tell you that. And again, I like to pour a little bit more batter on the top. This is a little thick. You can make it any way you want. The kitchen is yours. So this one's a little big again. We'll flip that bad boy over, and she's looking good. So here we'll flip it back over. Look at that, you can't even see the chocolate-covered bacon, but by George, you're gonna dig in and taste it. So I hope you've enjoyed my little bacon extravaganza today. I'm sure you'll agree that cooking bacon on the pellet grill is the only way to go. It's the best. Cooking bacon is a little bit like life, I think. If you put bacon in the frying pan, you turn it on high, some places get scorched and burnt, the middle isn't done. What you need is balance. You gotta have evenly cooked bacon. And that's kind of how it relates to life. You need to live your life with balance, do everything right, nice and even and smooth, and your life is gonna turn out great, just like bacon on the pellet grill. So that's it for today. I like to end the day with a good Wisconsin old-fashioned, brandy, sweet, easy on the bitters with 2 olives on a yellow stick. Packer colors, you know. So boys and girls, it's time to get out your crayons and you can color my ass out of here. So good night, God bless, and remember the golden rule. Cheers. I don't have a f***ing clue what they're made of. Actually, that was a pretty shitty flip, but... You did it?
Yeah, that will be the thumbnail.
I don't know, whatever their f***ing thumbnail is, I'll trust you. Man, these are some big f***ing pieces of bacon. Me. That'll be an outtake.